Hi, I'm Scott Wrighton. I serve as Decatur's City Manager, and every week here at this link or on our cable access channel you can find out some more information about the City of Decatur. What I'd like to talk about today is about public transportation and how the Mayor and City Council and our staff have for some time now been thinking about ways to rethink how we provide public transit. For more than 30 years, the bus routes that are available in the City of Decatur have pretty much plied the same routes. We haven't made any significant changes in the routes that go all over the city since the 1990s. And so in the last 30 years, there's certainly been changes in the traffic patterns of people needing to commute, where they need to go to work, what their demands are, what their access to private transportation is, that should be reflected in how we plan for the future of public transit here in Decatur. So the City Council at its last meeting, it was a study session on the 12th of February, talked a lot about that. And one of the things that we're thinking about doing is a major change to the routes. It'll take the number of routes from 16 to 10. And by routes, I mean fixed routes. Fixed routes means that a bus drives a predetermined route that's published and available to the citizens and picks up people or not. And if there's nobody there, it's still running that route. What's happening is that fixed route system, besides not going to all the places that it may need to go to service the needs of our citizens for transportation, even in the 1990s when these routes were created, still left about a third of the city not served. And by not served, I mean that there were places in the city that were a quarter mile or more from the nearest fixed route. So to encourage more participation in transit, make it more flexible, and give our riders a bit more autonomy and control over their own lives, what we propose to do, probably beginning around the first of the year in 2025, is to overlay or mix or integrate a new fixed route system with something we call microtransit. So there'll continue to be fixed routes, but not quite as many of them. And the areas where the fixed routes would not be available would be in some of the neighborhoods where there's fewer people riding the bus, and there have always been fewer people riding the bus. How do we get transportation to them and to the other areas that have always been unserved? Through microtransit. So microtransit means we use a smaller vehicle, and it's more on demand. Not to your door, but to a curb or corner location, probably within a block or so, no more than 2 blocks from your home or wherever you're going to. So it's curb to curb. And you make arrangements for it on your phone, and we have an algorithm that is able to tell the driver where to go to pick somebody up, drop somebody off. Think of it as group Uber. Instead of just an Uber for one, you might be riding with other people who are getting on or going off, getting on or getting off the bus as they take you to your destination. Maybe half a dozen people on the vehicle at the same time, but all of them who have made pre-arrangements for that kind of pickup. And so that it might be that when you get on your phone, your cell phone, and say that you want to go from point A to point B, it'll tell you, well, there's a fixed route just 2 blocks over here, and that would be the quickest way for you to get there. Or it might be this, no, we'll arrange for a micro-transit bus to come and pick you up at this location and take you probably somewhat circuitously and not direct because it's servicing other passengers en route to whatever your destination is. And there may be some times of the day when the fixed route buses are not running. This gives us the opportunity to provide transit even during those times when the fixed routes are not running. Currently, our fixed buses only run from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. But we know that sometimes people need to get to work or from work if they're working second shift, at other times when the bus doesn't run. And so having microtransit overlaying our fixed routes lets us considerably expand the number of places that we can go, the times we can go, and it also helps our workforce development goals because it means we can get people to and from work at times and even at places where we haven't been able to serve them in the past. The other transportation-related topic that the Mayor and Council talked about at their last meeting had to do with non-motorized transit. There are neighborhoods here in Decatur where as many as 30% of the population may not have access to reliable private transportation, in other words, their own car. They may rely on the bus, they may rely on a bicycle, they may rely on a friend to take them to work or to the store. And so although there's an increasing number of off-road bike trails, and the city adopted, along with our other transportation partners here in Macon County, a 2021 master plan for building more of them in the years to come. There are still parts of the city that are not especially pedestrian friendly. There's no sidewalks, or the way to move is still on the street surface, or some other impediment to easy movement of pedestrians, as well as bicycles and other non-motorized transit. So the federal government, and through its funding programs, is encouraging cities to integrate planning for non-motorized service into its neighborhood revitalization programs. Well, that's music to our ears, because the mayor and city council's number one priority is neighborhood and community revitalization. And so weaving those together is certainly something that they want to do. And one of the things that the council talked about, for example, is doing a pilot project with making bicycles available. You perhaps have seen them in other cities, where you can rent a bike or a scooter for certain routes in the city, oftentimes in a downtown area or near a university campus, or at the major transit hubs where people might be dropped off by microtransit to join the bus. We'll figure that out as we go along, but they, in very limited ways and restricted ways, that the mayor and council said, yeah, we can try a little bit of this, a little bit of this, to increase pedestrian safety, to increase mobility in the community, so that it all ties together in something we call transportation-oriented development. So look to our website and to some of the other ways that we reach out in the community as the planning for this gets further along and there's more details and maps available. And I look forward to giving you more of the information like this in future videos. Thanks for tuning in.